information. And that's been the problem. Your answer is within. It's not by vicarious salvation that you look to somebody else to save you. It's to look within and save yourself from your ego and all the messages it's deceiving you with to keep you out of the truth as of being one with God, and that your light can therefore shine. All the layers that have covered up your light need to be exposed to the light, and that's called healing. And the more you expose those layers of untruth, whatever label you want to give them, and expose it to the light of day, which is of God, and move into that power, the healthier you become and the more enlightened you become, and your light will shine even brighter. So in looking to your inside inner truth of who you truly are, not of this world, this is just an illusion. And it's only in the planet Earth and other third dimension duality places that you can change the darkness to the light as quickly as you can. This is a lesson, a schoolhouse on Earth, where the duality of emotions, the loving emotions can be healed by from the fearful emotions. In this dimension, third dimension, can move quickly the more you clean out the past history and the devastation that it might have brought you in whatever form or another. The quicker you can move into the love of God, and more of your soul can be healed, polished like a diamond in the different facets. And in doing that, your spirit rises into higher energy. And see, that's the big lesson that most people do not understand. This is a school of energy. Life is about energy. Spirit is energy, and when it moves, it's called emotion, energy and motion. And moving it from the negative to the positive isn't good or bad, it just is necessary, so the energy can flow. And as that energy flows, you're going to have more and more light in your life. So allowing the obstacles that stopped the flow is going to produce the health and the presence of God, the good feelings that you always wanted. As you move up in your energy, as you release the past, release the fear and the anger and the resentments, as you say, God, please replace them with your love and grace, then the grace of God can enter. And that's the beautiful part of Amazing Grace. Grace has always been around you, and it's always been in you. It's just that you've been blinded because of the old stories that have been circulated to keep you blind. And now with the light of God in this last moments before we actually move into the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension, we are no longer blinded. In your case, both of you are no longer blinded like so many people. And it's exciting to have ahas come every day, to have more understanding come each day of, oh, this is what's going on. This is why I handled it this way. Well, I don't have to do it that way again. It didn't work, you see. So just because you were taught a certain way, you're probably doing it differently today, and I'm probably talking to the choir. But the point is, the more we understand about ourselves, the more we know about ourselves, that the truth will set us free. And the truth has always been there, and it's never going to change, that we're all one with God. And that's what Ascension's about, is moving into that allness, that oneness, attunement, atonement. There's many different names depending on whatever groups you belong to. And as you move more and more into that oneness, that energy, you're getting closer and closer, higher and higher into that oneness of God. And you're moving into that grace, because when you have balanced out the negative energy from the past and future worries and brought it to center. It raises into neutral energy, and that's the grace of God. And you can move, that's ascension. You're moving into the grace in a physical body. You don't have to die to do it, and through spirit, as has happened over these eons of years. This is the first time in history when people will be able to ascend in their bodies into this glorious place of bliss and joy. And words cannot even explain and describe where you're going. And that you're moving out of that lower energy, and you've done so much work to do that. And anything negative that comes up, and you recognize it probably much quicker than you used to, send love to it. Or those people around you that are unhappy for whatever reason, send love to them. You see, they're just a reflection of your personality still needing to heal. And you're projecting that out to indicate to you what still needs to send love to. And the way to get across the threshold of ascension is to forgive. And if there's any unforgiveness that you have been reluctant, for whatever reason that person did you in, took from you, hurt you, stole from you, was unkind to you, shamed you, did things that were unkind, and you're just not going to let them off the hook because they deserve it. That will keep you from moving into the glorious birthright of actually being that child of God in ascension that you truly have earned at this point. So the only pain and suffering we have is what we hang on to from the past. So I'm suggesting, there's a picture out there some people have on sweatshirts of this kitty scratching this fence post. He doesn't want to give up, hanging on, scratching that fence post as he's kind of going down, but he's not going to let go. And that's the pain and suffering. And so the more you let go and let God into your life, no matter what the circumstances are, the more love can fill that spot. And yes, it might have been really, really a situation that impacted your life severely. But maybe it's time to realize that letting go of that hurt is going to allow more space for more God to come in, more health and more healing. And you're only giving up your limitations of that little bit of power you think you have by hanging on to it. And it's only an illusion. So in giving up that little bit of illusion, you're going to gain the whole world. You give up the past for a new today, and that will put you across the threshold. All is forgiven. All the past pain, all the past worries, all the hurts and more woundedness that you had to walk through in this lifetime. Forgive those people. They played their part well, and it's only an illusion. So you really aren't giving up anything except what you truly want, which is the prize, the golden ring, is right in front of you. And when you reach for it, the past will leave, and you will be catapulted into a new dimension. The only thing that will hold you back is hanging on to not forgiving. It's to move you forward. Forgiving moves you forward into that bliss and state of mind that you have wanted and dreamed about. In fact, that is what coming home is all about. You're coming home to the real, true you in your heart and the really true essence of who you are. And that in reality, you've always been part of that Spirit of God. This little piece broke off, the divine spark came with you in your heart when you came to earth to balance out that darker energy so you could move back into your true inheritance. And in doing that, you came to earth to open up your heart with that light to show others it can be done. And it might have not been going out there and being real obvious like a minister or a teacher or a psychic, and some of those people that are famous have written books about it. Sometimes the smallest little kindness was the only reason you came. Mac has not had as difficult a life this time as he's had in other lifetimes. But the kindness is what it's all about, and moving into your kindness. Just be kind and patient. And in doing that, you are in the presence of God, and maybe that's the only thing you came to do, was to have that kindness and patience with one person who didn't have it any other way. And you brought that spark of love to them that they really needed, and you played a most important part. And would you believe that small little kindness is just as important as someone who's made millions of dollars through some book they sold? Because you can read a book, but if you don't apply it, it isn't worth a thing. Kindness is applying it. So you see that living it makes the difference. Books can be fine, they can help give you information and make you aware, but if you just leave it in your head, nothing changes. But if you move it into your heart and walk in that path, then the ripple effect becomes very powerful and very much profound. And it doesn't have to be something that's on the front page of the newspaper. It doesn't have to be something that's on the news every night. And it doesn't have to be shouted from the rooftops. It's the smallest little experience that you take with you when you move into the fourth dimension. Some of you will remember Jack Benny and
Yes.
how he had his money in the vault and how he was trying and conniving to take his money with him. And that was very important. He was a miser, and money was very important, and he was a skinflint from, on his show, his radio show. Of course, in reality, Jack Benny was actually a very generous person. But the storyline got people's attention because everybody wants to take things with them into the fourth dimension. They're material things. And I'm here to say, the only thing you take with you is your experience. And you people have provided great experience in your lives. And for you to understand, you have undone a great deal of your ego, so that is not running the show. And you have moved into that person that is doing God's will, both of you in just different ways. And I think that is to be most commended, that you have walked the walk, you have done the deeds, and anything that is left to do is just the last remnants before the new change is announced. You see, things are getting rather bleak if you're aware of some new problems that have come up politically. And some problems are because the dark is still holding on, desperately trying to keep their control, but they're losing ground greatly. And the wonderful news is that people are waking up to saying, I don't choose to be oppressed anymore, I choose